Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Dad Talk. Today, we got Mr. Ward back in the house. Dwayne, what's going on, man?
In the house. I'm living large. Literally, I gained like 10 pounds over the holidays, so I am living large and in charge.
So I'm just going to give a disclaimer right up front. This right here is one of those subjects that I said, man, I don't want to talk about this because I know it will really upset the ladies. So Dwayne thinks it's very important for us to talk about this tonight. He said he's really got a bone to pick about it. So he's the one that came up with it. I'm kidding. I like that.
I've got Belfast in the house.
Huh?
What's up, Colin? Got Belfast.
Belfast. What is going on, bruh?
Where's Belfast?
All right. And I've already seen several ladies that's in there. Girls, don't be shy because we want to talk about this. Look, before we get into it, if you are watching the show, we are live. This is the second show of the day. So we're going to be reading your comments. We're going to be going back and forth. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Ding the bell so you're getting the notifications for when we go live. If you appreciate what we're doing here and you'd like to see us do more of it, you can support our show down there at the bottom. Dad Talk Today, no spaces, Cash App, Venmo, Patreon. We got super chats and memberships on YouTube. We got stars and memberships on Facebook. And the more stars you send, it's just twinkle, twinkle, baby. It makes us want to talk even more. And that's it. Not, twinkle, twinkle, little star. But
twinkle, twinkle. Yeah. Let's get a star party going.
Yeah, let's get the star party going. All right, guys. So talking about this, we talked a little bit about earlier, and I think me and you've talked about it too before, Dwayne.
Oh, yeah.
But how some people treat sex as a reward in a marriage, that if your husband wants to have sex with you and he got married to you, that's who he's supposed to come to for it. You're always saying you got a headache, you don't want to do it, or if you're going to do this, I need you to work, I need you to do this, I need you to pay me, or I need you to buy me something. That almost sounds like prostitution if you ask me, Dwayne.
That sounds a lot like it. I mean, Brooks had a couple things to say on that topic over the last 2 days, and I agree with a lot of what he said. I mean, again, putting it in the right context and framework. And again, this is one of those I try not to, though, the girls too, but it goes the other way too. I mean, guys sometimes have a low libido and they denying the
How
wife.
often is that going to be?
Do what?
How often is that going to be?
It's probably not going to be too often. I'm just, I'm throwing, throwing a couple crumbs out there for the ladies out there. But actually, for the ladies that are like, folding their arms, already coming in. This is like some intel. This could turn into like an intel, like you can understand and go, this is how I can make my marriage, my relationship better overall. I mean, it's not going to be us bagging. Well, who knows where the conversation will turn, but this isn't going to be us bagging on marriage or women or whatever. It's getting, these are things that, as we talk about, we need to talk about these things.
We do. And, I think there's going to be both sides of the conversation, and we want to get that out. Ladies, if you got something to contribute, we want to hear from it. Guys, we want to hear from you too. Are you one of those guys that has been in that relationship where it feels like you have to do certain things in order to be able to get sexy time with the person that you married? And dude, we've all seen it. That was one of those that I know that there were several guys that said that happens to me, but they might not talk about it as much.
Right.
And here's the thing, dude, when all right, I did that purposely today when Dr. Brooks was talking about the oxytocin that a baby gets from that skin to skin contact with their parents. It sinks in the heartbeat. It makes them feel better. And I was like, well, isn't it the same thing in relationships? There is oxytocin that a man gives to a woman during that, and it actually makes her happier. Did you believe it? Because if you ask a lot of them, they might say the opposite.
If you do it, you got the dopamine, you got the X-cut, and you got all that fun stuff. And it's, again, sex. It's like the George Michael song. Sex is good. It's good, and it's good to talk about. And a happy couple, that's a big ingredient to a happy marriage. I mean, couples from 100 years ago, they didn't have the internet. They got 19 kids, no internet. There's something to do. No, I'm joking there, but they're, it's in a good relationship. Sex is a wonderful thing. It's how you can physically and emotionally connect with your partner.
Absolutely. Bubba Montoya said hello from, I'm going to try to say it, man. Let me get it. Natosius, Louisiana. Let's see if I said that right. Sabrina, hey, we got you in here, Miss Sabrina. Please tell us what you think about it. Jason Lynn Batson said, I think that's what most toxic females, you don't clean the house or wash the dishes or you're on VLOC. Let me go a step further for that, though. I don't think they got to be a toxic, narcissistic, borderline, bipolar, whatever female in order to do this for you. I think it's became so common in relationships that it's just, you know what? You got to make me happy. And if I'm not in the mood and I don't want to do that with you, I'm not going to do it with you. I even had this talk with a family member earlier, somebody that's very, very close to me, not my home right here, but somebody I grew up with. And she was like, Eric, I did it. I did it. And I know I did it. And this was a very good spouse. She was like, we did, I did it all the time. That's what I used to get him to do things that he normally wouldn't do or that I wanted him to do. And I was like, you don't do that. You don't do that. I mean, when you get married to somebody, Dwayne, intimacy is one of the most important things that you can have inside of a relationship. It's the building blocks of a relationship. Brooks was talking about today, 3.5 times a week. I don't know how you do a halftime on that. But basically saying every other day. Every other day, or at least half of the week that you're having relations, right? And we know once a month you're going to go for at least a week outside of it. So you got to make up on those days.
Sometimes,
right?
There's, I don't want to throw it out there.
I have no idea what this man's talking about right here. But I mean, it's again, man, like I hear from some of these guys, it's been 6 months, a year, or 2 years since they've been intimate with their partner. How in the world does a relationship last without that intimacy?
I don't know. I mean, again, unless there's like a medical reason or something else going on. I mean, Brooks brought about the Christian perspective, and it does talk about, in the Bible, how, by agreement, mutual agreement, not one-sided, but if there's medical issues or some other some other large reason that is understood between both sides, that's the only time that shouldn't, because again, we were depending upon whatever you believe in, evolutionary, biology, Christianity. I mean, they all talk about that those are things that we have to have, that intimacy. Brooks did a great job at giving you the psychology or the chemical Absolutely. Part of it. He did a great job there. But you have the emotional. I mean, the 5 love languages. For guys, what's the one that we always do? I know we talk about gifts and blah blah blah. It's physical touch. I mean, that's right. I would say most guys, that's the top one. And when you don't have that, it tears. It just really hurts the relationship. It's just such a fundamental part of a relationship. Otherwise, you're just buddies.
Yeah, and we got some comments in here for Sabrina. I really appreciate this. She said, for women, some of the decrease in sex drive is related to having kids and the caretaking toll it takes on her. I know for me, when I was touched too much, the last thing I wanted was to be touched by my husband. Come in here again. I had kids climbing all over me all day and taking care of everyone else. I needed time to take care of myself. It was something we actually had to have conversation about. And I can understand that, before you have kids, it's just you and him. right?
On
If
like
you get
Donkey
married,
Kong.
some people have kids right away, but it's so much easier to fulfill these roles before we have kids. Then when we have kids, we got the jobs, we got to take care of the house, we got to
Your role
take care of the
changes.
bills, we got to take care of all those things, and intimacy kind of takes a back seat. If I got a little bit of time later, then we'll try to do this. The sex shouldn't be a chore, Dwayne.
No,
It shouldn't be a chore for anybody. And I'm not saying, like, when I say this, that not to treat it as a reward, does that mean you should have it every time he wants it, that you should just say whenever? No, absolutely not. And I would say, men, if she's had one of these days and she's been working hard, whatever, a massage, usually it starts off at the shoulders and it ends up at the rear end. I mean, find a way.
Most kids turn out like on a massage. Let's be real. My neck hurts. 2 minutes later, you're down at the butt area massaging that. Hey, baby.
I'm guilty. I am guilty.
I'm waiting for Brady
somebody out there is already saying that we're having inappropriate conversations. Look, guys, it's everybody. This is what made all of us that are sitting here. Yeah. And I think the reason why sex has went in the opposite direction is because we don't talk about sex enough. Right. And this is one of the things I know my guys that are in here that are listening feel like this happens all the time. It's being used as a manipulation. If I don't do this just right later on tonight, that's going to be withheld from me. Men want to have sex with their wives. They married you. They love you. And he wants to fulfill your happiness. Mm-hmm. And he wants you to do the same. But that actually creates a stronger relationship. So when you treat that as a reward for him, I only do it when you want or when you do what I want, you're actually taking away the importance of intimacy in that relationship. And I believe that's one of the factors that starts ending up through divorce. Because let me tell you something else. Like Sabrina, when I hear about this, like, I've been taking care of the kids all day. I've got this going on. I've got this going on. Well, say this is a lady that's been on maternity leave. They've lacked intimacy throughout that time when she's taking care of the kids. Then she goes back to work. And the last thing I want is my husband. But here comes Mr. Smooth at work. Girl, you looking good.
Yeah.
You know how many fall for that? And let me say something too. When you keep telling him, I don't feel like it tonight. I got a headache. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. 6 months or a year. And this man feels like he is about to bust. Now people can say he can take care of himself. I mean, whatever. But what happens when he gets attention at work? And let me tell you something, ladies. I don't know what it is, but when you put this on right here, this wedding ring, that makes more women want to come after you than anything, because that is a man I'm not supposed to have.
Oh, yeah.
And these guys fight that every single day, just like you do with your coworkers. And then when he is not being taken care of at home, you are inviting this into your relationship. We wonder why affairs are such a big thing. It's because and you know what, dude, let's be real. I want to have a conversation about loyalty and how that's a two-way street. Affairs start way before it hits the bedroom.
Oh yeah.
It starts with conversation. Mm-hmm. Conversations can be intimate too. I am telling you details about my life, things that I'm struggling with, things I just want to talk to somebody. And you're not doing that with your husband. You're not having intimate. You're not doing these building blocks of the relationship. And people wonder why divorce is going down like it is, Dwayne. Yeah. I think, and it's getting worse. It's getting worse. Most people ain't even getting married.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a whole other thing. I know that's probably even more controversial in this discussion, sex before marriage. And, actually Brooks talked quite a bit about, from both the scientific community and the spiritual community. Looks like, yeah, Jim's hitting it right. Yeah. And how those relations and those bonds are being formed and, outside of marriage. And now it's cool because, again, we had, a decent number of women are now saying that with women having affairs is okay. More say it's okay for a woman to have an affair than a man to have an affair. That was a recent study that came out. Again,
the grass can be just as green as what you're looking on the other side if you water it, man.
Oh yeah, at the home front.
I mean, I just hate to say it that way.
The grass is usually greener on the other side of the fence because it's being fertilized with manure. That's kind of a joke I do. That that's the whole reason it looks any better over there. But yeah, I mean, you fell in love with the person you want. I mean, that's again, sex and intimacy. And you know what, girls, for guys, those two, they are more closely linked than with women. With women, I would say, and again, this is generalizing it, but it's more, more intimate. Women take more intimacy, and the sex is the kind that follows. Where men, and again, this is generalizations. Men take that physical and intimacy. When say no to that husband, that's a rejection. I mean, if I'm like,
oh,
hey,
that sucks,
baby,
dude.
yeah. I'm like, hey, babe, look at me. And she's like, nope, not tonight. That is rejection. And it hurts. Asking for a friend.
How many of them say that they want spontaneity, but the second that he goes to be spontaneous or sneak up on it, oh, I just don't feel like it right now.
Yeah.
You want to know why your husband isn't being spontaneous? Is because he does not like rejection. Rejection hurts just as much for men, whether they admit it or not, as it does for a woman. And especially when it's coming from his spouse. If his own spouse that he created this life with keeps rejecting him time and time and time again, if you're making him go without and he's going 6 months or a year, that's not much of a marriage, Dwayne. I'm just going to be honest with you. And it's not about putting sex up on this pedestal. By no means. I'm one of those guys. I cared way more about that when I was younger. Now I like being able to talk, communicate. Hey, how was your day? Oh man, let me tell you about some of the stuff that I was going on, knowing that I've got somebody there for me that I can trust. That when I get older, if something was to happen to me, would help take care of me, or vice versa. Yeah. Right. There's a lot more to that, but that is still the building block of that relationship. And it's just been used way, way too much. So Jason Lynn Batson here on Facebook said, so Eric, what you're saying is single man should wear a wedding band. So let's go to what Sabrina said. Let me give it to you from a female's perspective. Forbidden fruit is the most attractive to wandering eyes or need for attention.
It's dangerous.
You understand what I'm telling you, Jason? Forbidden fruit. Am I saying that you should wear a wedding ring to get a woman to pick you up? That is not a woman you want, brother.
Maybe
that is not a woman you want. A woman that wants a married man? No. And you don't want a guy that wants a married woman. I don't go for either side. You don't want somebody doing it to you. Don't do it to them. And you know what? A lot of those affairs are happening again because this conversation is not being had.
Yeah.
Right. You've had the kids, you've got the everyday job, and you're not putting into the relationship like you once did. A lot of people say the most important thing to me in my life is my kids. And I get where they come from, but man, wife, husband, wife, they need to be at the top, because if they're happy and they've got it taken care of up here, it sprinkles on down to the rest of the nuclear family. And if it's not good up here, it's not going to be good down here. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Well, you're patterning the relationship that you want your kids to have. When they see mom and dad happy in that kind of relationship, not, accidentally walking into the bedroom door, we've all been traumatized. Actually, like to hear some of the funnier stories. Keep it at least PG-13 or below. But, seeing that, mom and dad are in a happy, healthy, joking, fun relationship, that secures children. That makes them feel secure. It makes them feel happy. It's a happy household. Everyone's happy, and they feed off of that energy. When mom and dad are walking around grumpy and ticked off and fighting back and forth, usually, I mean, let's be real. After, they say the 3.5 days, when you hit day 3 of the one every other day, and you're not getting those needs fulfilled, you get a little cranky. Daddy a little cranky in the sack there. I mean, that's the way we get, and women, at least I hope women, not to get way too personal and Brady's going to kill me, but after, when, we get going in all of our different directions and stuff, after day 3, she comes over, gives me a hug and goes, "Hey, Tiger." And that's that the relation. You've got to have that in your relationship. It's good. And we talk about the sprinkle down. People will say this is, I would argue, bad advice. Your kids come first. It's mom and dad come first, and everything else follows along. And if you do it that way, everything will work. If you put your kids first, your spouse is neglected. And I get there's times when they got a kid, breastfeeding or run around like little monkeys and all that. Yeah, you don't have that energy, but it wears on you, and you've got to. You've got to have that relationship with your spouse, or you're going to have problems. That's
So,
all I got.
Dwayne, read some of these comments, and I want you to bounce back off of them. Back in the saddle again. Still in the country. We had a bad storm last night. My internet is going out, and I'm not hearing half of what you're saying. And I hope you just heard what I was saying. I'm going to reboot it and come right back on really quick.
All right, sounds good. I will run through the comments and see what we can do here. All right, so we got anonymously, keep women for leisure and focus on self-improvement. Well, I mean, if you want to do more of the MRA thing, men's rights, only, or going your own way and all that. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's where society's going to, is that men and women are so disposable. You swipe left, swipe right. If they don't answer 100% of your needs immediately, you boot them out and all that. I mean, I personally, being a happily married man, again, took me a couple tries. That was never a thing for me. I was, I was looking for lifetime partners. See here, Jason. See here, says, I agree, Eric. I was roughing the feather stuff. Okay, that must be the deep conversation better than intimacy. Also, Jason, looks like I missed part of a conversation there. Let's see here. Let me go to Bubba here. But before we got married, it happened anywhere and everywhere. Now I'm lucky if it's once a month. I try and she rejects it. Bubba, I feel you. I mean, talking a little bit about my first marriage. It was actually a lot like Brooks's, 6 months or more. And all the things that he talked about, I felt he was in my relationship with the things he was going through. I had to spend money no matter what I did. I would, I would try to do the things where I would take care of the kids after I got home from work. Which I attribute that me being a co-parent, that's what I do. But I would do extra things above and beyond. Like I would take the kids away, give her specific time by herself, or after I got in, my first wife didn't work. So when I would get home and the house was a mess, I would clean the house thinking, hey, this would take some pressure off her. And those things didn't work. That's something, I'll be honest. I mean, I don't know. I assume, Bubba, you've been married for a little while. I would say you probably need to have some honest conversations with her. Because that having, and again, you're on here, you're talking about something that obviously impacts you, and it's a very important thing. If it's once a month, there's going to be some long-term negative impacts. It's either it usually doesn't get better, it gets worse, and you need to have those conversations, and they are going to be tough conversations. There's just no way around that. Let's see here, Brandy, Mike Johnson. Men have the same feelings as women, or a woman has. They want to be accepted and made to feel like a king, and also have insecurities about themselves, just like women do. Yeah, we're all secure. I mean, I think I'm like a 3, maybe a 3.5 on a good day if I do my hair just right. I have a lot of insecurities. It's I don't think I'm, God's gift to women. Thankfully, Brandy, my wife, took pity upon me, and she seems to like me. So hey, I'm gonna ride that train as long as I can. And yeah, we do. And when your spouse rejects you, or does certain things, or uses the intimacy as a reward, that just, it deteriorates marriage. And I guess I want to, before, well, Eric is back, but I'll make the point anyway, real quick. When we talk about the treat as a reward in marriage, again, these aren't blanket statements. It's, in a healthy relationship, everything else being equal and everything else being healthy, I tell you right now, if my wife came up to me and said, hey, honey, if you, fold the laundry this time, because it's normally her turn to do the laundry. If you fold the laundry this time, I'll make it worth your while. Or hey, we're going to make you go to a country western concert, and she knows I can't stand country whatever music, and if I go there, I will make it worth your while. Something like that. I will be like, sure.
You gonna fold that laundry?
I will fold the laundry with a smile on my face, and those are okay. I mean, people tend to do the polar opposites and say, oh, well, they just mean this. No, we mean outside of that normal, healthy relationship, those things happening. Or I go, hey, honey, I've done this to her. Honey, you get the lawn mowed, I'll make it worth your while. And she's like, woo.
Well,
good.
I mean, is it one of those, if you cook me supper, I'm going to take care of you? It shouldn't be used as a tactic, period.
Right.
And I see it's a little bit more innocent like that. And especially when we know our partner isn't using that as a negotiation tactic.
Right.
but that shouldn't be used as a negotiation tactic one
No.
bit whatsoever. That should be something, I guess, that's expected. Is there going to be times where you don't want to on both sides?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love what Val Bain said here on Facebook. She said, works that way for women too, but it's what Eric said, top down, but it's not cupcake where you bribe a kid. You can have a cupcake if you finish dinner. If you don't eat your pudding, you can't have my meat.
Right,
you like that Pink Floyd reference?
Right.
Okay. Anyway, I just had to. Joseph.
Yeah,
he said that way is in the Bible. The kids eventually leave. I mean, it is talking about being submissive. But unfortunately, right now, again, that's what's been used as is a tool. And I'm gonna have to go. Anonymously said, keep women for leisure and focus on self-improvement.
Right.
I don't agree.
Yeah, I hit on that.
I don't know. I think you are a part of the problem when you do that.
Yeah,
I really do. I think, and Brooks was talking about that today. Every time we do that, it's never going to be the same for her either, right? We've just kind of taken the meaning out of it. And I won't lie to you, dude. In my younger years, I was messed up, dude. I was an addict, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't think about it. I just thought that was something that felt good. And, boys, that's what we're going to be after. And it wasn't until I got married, and I had kids and stuff. And I look back and I was like, I would have wished for anything if I could have went back and said, you know what? This is what I want to say for my spouse. This is the one thing I can give you that I can't give anybody else. Because once that's gone.
Yeah, virginity, yeah.
Once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
And that is just a sacred thing. I heard a preacher talk about it one time, not a very religious guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard a preacher talking about it one time, talking about like it's like a man, dipping his hand or the ladle down in a well and coming up for a drink of water to refresh. There's been nights where, dude, like my head is just pounding, like I can't get anything off my head. I can't sleep, and then I have some time with my wife, dude. Right to sleep, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. I mean,
yeah,
it's a beautiful thing, really.
It's a beautiful thing. And that's just, and your wife, the intimacy that you two have, and she, I assume, and I believe wholeheartedly, she knows that helps out in that area. And I mean, all those things are there. And it's just that, and you got to admit, in a healthy relationship, which it took me a long time to get to that point. I mean, with my wife, my current wife, I can honestly say this is the first time that I've ever had, that intimacy level where you have the emotional, you have the physical act, and it's all just wrapped up into one.
I agree.
I'll just admit it and get real with everybody. Didn't know. I mean, when I was younger, had no clue what that meant. Obviously was not getting that from, my first marriage. And it eventually ended. Probably parts of that were the reason.
Well, so there's a lot of stuff that happens, speaking to the ladies right now, when you withhold that from your husband, again, the rejection, insecurities, thinks it's something that he's doing, that's something that's wrong. I'm not good enough. I mean, there's all these things swimming in your head, and I couldn't imagine the mental torture of 6 months going by thinking, why am I not good enough? Why don't you want me?
Right.
I'd do anything for you. I'd do anything for you. And it seems like no matter what I do, it's like they almost detest you in a way. And this is somebody that you had kids with, that you're building a home with, Dwayne.
Yeah.
That's the thing that brings you, believe it or not, you might feel like you got a lot of distance. That's the thing that brings you closer.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell there is a difference in a relationship when the intimacy is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird, with Brandy and I, when we haven't, we're not together in the biblical sense for 4 or 5 days, just because work and just all kinds of crazy things happening. We can't finish each other's sentences. We're like, everything's just disjointed. I don't know how else to describe it. And then after that magical moment, we're finishing each other's sentences. We're joking around. It's like nothing. I mean, it's solid.
Are you saying you have pillow talk, Dwayne?
No, I fall asleep. That's a whole other issue.
Oh, you talking to your sleep?
No, I just fall asleep right afterwards because I'm tired.
I get it. Sabrina, thank you for chipping in tonight. She said, what are you guys doing to build intimacy outside of sex? Eventually the sex is gone. There's still a need for intimacy. Does the sex gotta go? I mean, does it really? I mean, maybe at one point in time, obviously. I don't know what 50s, 60s, and 70s feel like.
Hey, I'm 50. Don't even. There's still hope.
Yeah, but you're getting the replacement therapy, right? Now let's talk about that. When a guy's sex drive starts to decline and a woman starts to take off in the later years, it starts going in the other direction.
Yeah.
Because us men, we start to lose our testosterone, and it's not like it was back in high school.
No.
It's just not. So there's going to be those times again, like I said, with the man.
Oh, yeah. We've had that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been nights, honey, it's midnight. I got to get up at 4 a.m, or I got to go to work. I'd love to. Sorry.
It's true, man. What's so bad is it feels like we're like the little teenage kids snickering in the corner, like, oh God, what are we talking about? But why have we made it like that type of conversation? Right?
It shouldn't be. It should be things we talk about. Yeah, as you get older and your testosterone reduces. I mean, amongst that, and I know people that have low testosterone that still have a sex drive. There's other pieces in there, but but you can get testosterone replacement, which I have, and it's done a wonderful job in there. I mean, I got protein. I mean, it does all kinds of stuff outside of that, but yeah, it does vitamin B shots. All those things contribute to your overall health and wealth. And the studies show that for longevity, people that have that have sex, they live longer, they're happier, they have less cancers, less diseases. I mean, there's a whole host of things to having those regular intimate relationships.
Well, sex is how all of us are here. Right. And it's a natural desire, both woman and man, but men definitely are driven by that sex drive. And if you got one of these spouses that are saying you got to do this or you got to do this to get that which you're wanting, it almost makes a husband feel more like a slave than a spouse.
Yeah. Well,
you might not want to look at it that way, but that's it.
You're trading goods and service. I mean, you've married this person, you've made those covenants and agreements, and all the assumptions built in there, and then you're trading, this for that, and that just, and then it gets into that the juice ain't worth the squeeze. That's one of the times where I use that catchphrase. It's like, if I'm having to go through all this stuff, I'll just go elsewhere, and that's unfortunately what happens to a lot of men. And to answer Jason's question, I get the shots. It's actually rather inexpensive. It's a painless process, super easy to do. And I would recommend, one, get checked out. And two, if you're over 30 years old, it's something to definitely look into. And it's not just for that. It's so much more than that, just that component. I'll be your testosterone salesman for the day. It's great stuff.
Villarreal said, if you don't use it, you lose it. I don't know about that. If you don't use it, sometimes it hurts. It hurts really bad. Sabrina said, it's a different version of prostitution.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Wow, look at that.
I'm glad Sabrina's the one that said that, because if I would have said it, it would, we would have been banned in a second. But yeah, I'm glad Sabrina, she acknowledged it. Smart lady. She's acknowledged that's what it is that when you're trading, and think about that, if you do this, I'll do that. That's not how a marriage. That's not how a marriage is supposed to work.
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
You guys both got to be doing the work. And like I said, if she's not in the mood, get that massage hands out.
Yeah.
Put on that Barry White.
Ooh. And again, women, generally speaking, are crock pots. Men are microwave ovens. If we're going to, analogize that, it does sometimes take and I say this generally because there are sometimes, Brandy, I have to, okay, I got my method. I got my, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to, hey. And then sometimes
you don't want to give out your secrets on live.
I'm not giving that away for free. You'll have to join my Dad Talk Today group here at $5.99 a month to get all my secrets. But, there are times that it's just, and that's another thing too, is intimacy, is like, with my wife, and she'll sit here and go, no, he doesn't. But I look at it as every day I'm doing different things. I mean, me being funny, me doing nice things, me doing sarcastic, dumb things, the things that she fell in love with. That's to me is intimacy. That's bringing the hugs and the kisses and the smacks in the butt, all those things.
The what to the butt?
The smack to the butt. All those things get is part of that. And guys, we're more, microwavy. We're like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, don't read me poetry. I'm good.
Are you talking about like what's his name on Family Guy? The next door neighbor, giggity, giggity,
giggity, giggity, giggity, giggity. Yeah, or Yum Yum from 90 Day Fiance guy. Yeah, and it's yeah. For guys, if you're thinking, oh, I'm here, I'm here to give you my seed. That doesn't work, except for in one area of the video world is probably the only place that works.
You sure? I want to try that one tonight.
What?
When I go talk to my wife, I'm going to give you my seed.
I am here.
Maybe it's in the way that you say it.
It's
seed.
Yeah, she I mean, she
Quagmire. That's it.
My lumberjack man. You never know. One thing that Brady does like about me is I have a deep voice. Thank you, 17 years of smoking. But I quit, by the way. But sometimes we're laying in bed, my voice will vibrate the furniture. And she was like, whoa, what is that? And I'm like, well, if you have a voice like mine, I had to change the microphone so it doesn't come across and I'm sure it's
your voice vibrates.
It vibrates furniture. It's the weirdest thing.
Furniture?
Furniture. I kid you not. Furniture. Yeah, we'll be
boys will be boys.
And I'll be talking, and she's like, one of the first times she's like, what is that? And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, oh, it happened again. And I would say something. It happened again. And I'm like, and I start talking. She's like, oh my God, that's your voice. Well, thank you. So anyway.
All right. John Cooper said, we men are paying for sex either way. You have kids, you're paying for it at least the next 18 years. You want it, you pay for it. Nah, dude. I see what he's saying, especially like guys in family court. Feels like if you had sex and you're not in a relationship, or she wants to go on somewhere else, you got it for 18 years, man. And you are going to pay for it. Even that, the family courts in many ways are like prostitution.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're definitely. Well, they're prostituting women. Because again, they know how all this works and all the damage caused, and they're the ones profiting. I mean,
pimping daddies.
Women, do what?
Pimping daddies.
Pimping daddies. I mean, and again, if that offends anyone, hear me out. So the family court knows how this works. This is how the $60 billion year industry, they make their money off of it through all these different things. The woman in child support will get $600, $800, whatever that number is. It pales in comparison to how much the family court makes off of that. They're basically pimping you and your kids. And I know this, and again, if anybody wants to argue with me, I would love to talk to you about it, because that's exactly what it is.
You're trying to vibrate the listeners. I heard the love.
Yeah. You're gonna be at home tonight trying that. Hey, baby, you're gonna bring your voice down? No, I am not lowering my voice.
Hey, baby. Yeah, dude. Like Butthead, he was the one that had the approach. Hey, baby.
Hey, baby. How you doing here? Hey there, sweet stuff.
John said, family court is hell. I'm going through the process now, brother.
We've all been there.
You got something, talk to us. This is one of those conversations, though, that I believe needs to be had more, because maybe if so, at the end of the day, we believe in 50-50. We believe in equality.
Yep.
We believe in a father's rights. But I also believe in the nuclear family. And that's why I couldn't agree with the gentleman earlier about women just for leisure. I do believe in the family unit at this current time. Do I understand why men are going their own way and developing some of that theology? Yes, I do. Unfortunately, I do. So this is not cracking down on that, because even if a man goes his own way, he's still going to want to go down that avenue. Unfortunately. And then that's what happens, man. We don't want to break society any more than it already is. Unfortunately, man, it's hard to say in any way, but just the truth. So many of these certain women, not all women, use their vagina as a tool to get what they want. Let's be honest. There is no thing on the face of this earth that can control a man more than what we're talking about right now: sex.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There is nothing.
Yeah.
A lot of the reason why you got these men in here talking in the situations that they are.
Okay.
Is because of this.
You're like, oh, man, I'm in family court right now. Man, that girl could quote Shakespeare. Dog, let me tell you something. You never hear that. Man, she really knew how to field dress a deer. I just, you know, man, I'm in family court. No, it's sex. I mean,
well, it was crazy. Like, you know, every time I bring up something with Brooks, he gives like the science and the research and stuff behind it.
Yeah.
Talking about the adverse childhood experiences, what we went through in our younger years. There's something about the partner that we choose, and when we're going through this chaos, that feels a little comfortable. It feels like home.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was sharing a little bit of his story with me, and I said, Brooks, I said, so what is it that you think attracted to you, to her in the first place? And he made no qualms about it. He said, her butt.
Bobs and butts.
Is that okay? Okay, I got it.
I mean, and men, I mean, the men too, and the women. I mean, again, what attracts you to somebody? Their looks.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, yes, and of course, you got to be attracted to the person that you want to be with. That's going to be a must.
Yeah.
At the same time, am I at this age, I'm happily married, but if I was a single guy, would I be after what I was when I was a teenager or in my 20s? Absolutely not. Well, just because it looks good doesn't mean it is good to touch or to be with, man. Because I'm going to tell you, I see some of that walking by right now, and there's a lot of them that have tried their best to get you to look. I don't want to see that crap, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you were 14, if it had a pulse, you were interested.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah. So over
that was all, guys.
Yeah. I mean, again, whichever way you believe, you know, we have that. We want to contribute our seed to the planet.
All right.
Johnny Appleseed.
I don't care whether you're a lady or you're a guy that's in here right now. We got a lot of parents. We're seeing it. And this is something that just hit my head. So if I'm wrong, correct me. But I do believe in our generation, Dwayne, we might be talking about our specific generation. This younger generation, there is a lot of the boys that are withdrawn. They're not after it like they once were. And it is the girls who have become the aggressor in this field.
Yeah. We used to have the Sadie Hawkins dance when I was a kid, which is when the girls asked the boys, and it was such an unusual thing. But actually, in my generation, I'm Generation X, girls we had Madonna and you know, some of the girl power bands and people that were coming along, and girls started to get aggressive and you know, asking boys out. And I got asked out actually a few times, which is odd because
really,
you know what I looked like back then. Yeah, you'd be surprised.
How did that make you feel, Dwayne?
Well, I was not going to say I was scared of girls, but it was one of those weird things. Yeah, I remember this one girl, Jennifer. She did the, you know, ask a friend. Hi, Jennifer. Yeah, if you're on. Yeah. So, and I'm going to tell a funny, embarrassing story, but she had her friends ask her, and I wasn't in the spot to even where I wanted to start, or I wanted to date again. I had a few relationships, but anyway, I was like, yeah, you know, I'm not really interested. And then I found out later that she decided that I was her last attempt with this gender. So
really,
I like to think that she's probably like, if I can't get Dwayne, I'm done with guys, and jumped over.
I had one that I was the only experience with this gender.
Really?
Not like in a sexual way or anything like that, but yeah. Just one night we was hanging out because I was friends with her.
Yeah.
And I know she liked girls. And out of the middle of nowhere, boy, she started kissing me all over me. And I was like, what's going on here?
Hey.
That was when I was a teenager. I felt pretty macho about that one. I was like, yeah.
All right.
You didn't want any of the other ones, but yeah.
I remember a night I remember, God, I was in the front seat of my car. Everyone's like listening in now. And this is, I don't want to say it's even embarrassing to talk about. This is maybe something that people could use. I was 16 years old, and this girl that I had been dating, she was like, hey, let's you know, take this to fourth base and shoot a home run. And I told her no. I was a virgin, remain pure as the driven snow. That point, you know, forward for the next several years. And I know that's surprising to, you know, hear about a guy that would actually say no, but I was like, it means something to me that, you know, giving up my seed for the first time meant something to me. I know all the guys were like, what? Yeah, no, I mean, it's uncommon and kids are ridiculed. But, you know, going back to what you were saying earlier, though, is that, yeah, as the generations, as you know, time has gone on, girls have gotten a lot more aggressive. They have, very aggressive, sending pictures and, hey, you, and hey, let's do this and let's do that. Yeah. But I think it started more with my generation, that behavior. Of course, I grew up in a small town, so not a whole lot of whatever, but I think it's gotten worse. I don't know what your experience was out there in the foothills of Georgia.
Trust me, man. Absolutely. Jason Lynn Batson said, is it possible to lose interest in sex? Yeah.
Yeah.
For both. For
And
both.
for women,
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, I think because I had my wilder years when I was younger, as I got older, I wanted the nuclear family. I wanted to be a husband. I wanted to be a dad. Right. When I first became a dad, that wasn't what was in the cards for me. Right. But once I became a dad, I just wanted to settle down, and I didn't want to go chasing all these different women and stuff like that. Dude, there was no excitement in that for me. And I had several. After my divorce, I had several. There was one woman I'll never forget. I'm not going to lie to you. One of the best looking women I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. Known me for 5 minutes, wanted to drag me into the bedroom. And I stopped and I was like, hey, can we sit here and talk for a second? And I remember looking at her and she's like, is something wrong with me? I was like, no, but what's your name?
Wow.
And it was just one of those, like, no interest whatsoever, man, because my only thought running through my head is, how many times has that happened? You know what I mean? Yeah. And we talk a lot about how women want a challenge, but guys do too, right? Oh, we want a woman that actually has some class and some morals, and that's easy to get. Giving it up on the first date and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess I've gotten more old school the older that I get, but I definitely do see that there is a challenge with the younger generation now. They're not as actively pursuing it as our generation once would.
Yeah. I mean, now it seems to be more freer, and it's not a big deal. Yeah, losing your virginity wasn't a big deal, or isn't a big deal now, or as it was before. And having, of course, now it's, people, they joke about their first marriages, and they say joke, and they call them starter marriages. Like, this is the one we're going to have, but it's just going to be the starter one, like a little starter house kind of thing. We'll get to the real one later. It's just kind of weird, but yeah, I know for men and, and women, it's one of those, now that I'm 50 looking back, and again, my story is different than everybody else's, but the same as everybody else's in a lot of different ways. I want people to really think about those things in relationships when you start dating somebody, to, look at them as a lifetime partner, and again, the compatibility, obviously. And then I'm waiting actually for the question. Well, on premarital sex. Well, if you should you get married to them first and then have sex, or should you have sex first to see if you're compatible and then get married? That's a big one right there.
I
mean,
I've
stumped the host.
No, you ain't stumped me. It's just one of those things. Like, I know I have expectations for my kids. At the same time, I said, had I not lived that little bit with my ex-partner, I would have got married. And it was that little bit of time that I was there that I found out there is no way. And there's a part of me that feels like you kind of need that trial period to see, is this something that we're going to be able to do? And if you can be with somebody for 2 or 3 years and it's still going strong, and it's got its more good times than it's got the bad, and you guys work well together, then maybe you should get married. But do I believe in just getting married and finding out what you're getting yourself into? I don't know, man. I've seen guys get married, and 2 weeks later, she's already left with another man. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I think, and so the other side of that is, do I suggest any man to get married with this current system?
Oh, yeah, that's a whole
I believe that marriage should be between the man and the woman. And if you're religious, it should be between your God. But the government has no place being inside of your home, man.
Yeah, they
have no place. They should have absolutely zero.
Yep.
And I don't think these men would fear marriage as much if Uncle Sam wasn't putting their hands in it and say, let me see what I can do for you. Uncle Sam has really encouraged this feminism. It really has. Yeah. And then, this is just one of the many subjects inside of the relationships that we're facing with that intimacy and the other things that we do to connect with our partner. Hell, like you said, virginity, dude, that's not even really a topic anymore.
No.
I think it's just assumed if you're a teenager, once you go through middle school or when you go through high school. I remember, I'm sure you did this as well. In middle school, high school, the kids used to pick on each other. You're a virgin. You're a virgin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got
and it's like, man, dude, that would be a badge of honor. If I was to go back, like a badge of honor. You can sit there and go with anyone, but try to find the needle in the haystack. That's where where the real challenge is going to be. Cause I'm telling you, you're going to go through a lot of duds before you find a good one in this. And I don't, the other part is I don't know if I recommend any American woman. There's something about American women, dude, that they have really just conditioned them. John Cooper, he said, I don't recommend marriage to anyone. But here's the thing, dude, like the marriage I'm in now, obviously you, Dwayne, I hear you talk about your wife all the time, Carnell.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere other than where I'm at right now. And I'm not saying that because I believe in happy wife, happy life, and I want her to see me and I can be this blue pill man. No, I absolutely adore her. And it's the reason why I do dad talk. You know what happened before we got on here tonight? I had this conversation with her. I said, guess what we're talking about tonight? I was like, ooh. And then she was, I don't do that to you. I was like, no, you don't. But a lot of women do.
But a lot of women
and she was like, I don't think my friends do that. I said, you don't know that your friends do that.
No.
You understand? But I guarantee if you go to your friend's spouse and say, does she make you work for it? Is there certain things that if you don't do this, you're not in at a certain time, you don't buy this, you don't do this chore, you don't do this, that you're not going to get. I guarantee that man's going to come back and be like, yeah, absolutely. Because I'd say it's the majority of married men that go through this topic that we're talking right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, I bet your wife has been conditioned that when she's out with her friends and they're doing it, it probably just goes above the radar or below or whatever it is above the radar, because it's so prevalent, it's so out there that when they do it, it doesn't even like it's probably taking that red pill. I mean, because when you're blue pilled, you'd watch a movie and you'd be like, or you would ignore it or whatever. Now that you're red pilled, you're like, he's doing the, sex for getting the towels done and or folding the laundry or whatever it is.
Well, Dwayne, I just thought about something. This might be the one episode for these men that are having challenges that the blue pill might be okay.
Okay.
It's called Viagra.
Oh, okay. I'm like going. I'm waiting.
I don't recommend that one either. Brooks talked about the downfall of that earlier today, but I believe it's a blue pill. It'd be the only blue pill I'd ever recommend if you're having problems in that field and you may need to get it. Boom.
Yeah, I've never. Is it blue or purple? I don't know. I've seen the commercials for it.
Oh, is it purple?
I don't know. I've never. Yeah, it's never been a thing for me.
Who's safe enough on here to admit it?
No, never. No, I'm happily taking testosterone. Highly recommended to everyone and women. Women should be on testosterone as well.
There you go. Sabrina, little blue pill Bubba said it's blue. Okay. I knew somebody knew. You know what?
No shame.
I don't want to. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for admitting it. See, that's how you normalize the conversation. It's all good, guys. It's all good. But I want to ask you about that, Dwayne. Let's get into this for our guys, because this is something I'm actually very interested in right now, because I can tell the difference I've had just in the past several months. Things aren't working like it used to. 38 years old, not as much energy, waking up, got the crick in my neck, and it just doesn't. It's just a natural part of life, man. It's hard every day when you wake up and you see those more gray hairs where it used to have that natural hair. Okay, now I'm getting depressed. What were some of the symptoms that you were facing as a result of low testosterone?
Okay. Horrible marriage. My first marriage. No, I was going to say I'm joking, but I'm really not. No. So no energy. You gain weight no matter what you did. And I say no matter what you did. Not that I worked out or anything. Well, actually, I tried for a while. But gaining weight, no energy. 2 p.m, you just nosedive. I mean, no matter what you do, you can take a shot of whatever, wouldn't matter. You're out. Brain's foggy. You feel depressed. Like you start going, hey, I'm 40 years old. Boy, I've lived half my life, or almost half, or more than half my life. That your brain's cloudy. You can't really think as clear. The work that I do, I have to take about 50 different systems and basically compact it into one idea and then generate it out to offshore people. No offense there, but I can't say it a certain way, but and send it to people that I need to make them understand how to either fix it or deal with it. That was a problem. Like I would forget things within the first 5 seconds. You become very forgetful. Libido. I mean, honestly, libido. You don't even think about it anymore. I mean, when you have testosterone, when you're feeling good, it's just your overall presence. You like I saw some guy walking down the street with a cane, and I went, God, that could be me. Now this was when I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
And then sleep. You're tired all the time, but no matter how much sleep you get, you're never not tired. Also, that's sleep apnea, a whole other thing. Which
I had sleep. They say I got sleep apnea. I got the CPAP. You got a CPAP?
I got a CPAP. Yep.
Does it work well for you?
I after the little thing that happened last year, they had like a recall on it. I stopped doing because I wanted to increase my odds, and oddly enough, my wife is not into Darth Vader. But no, and I'm a nerd, so like I hacked my CPAP machine and like messed with all the levels and stuff. But but and making it work the way I want it to. I'm like Tim the Toolman Taylor. But no, the CPAP it did work. It does improve. It reduces your chance of stroke, heart attack. And early death. When you're snoring at night and your wife leans over and wants to kill you in your sleep, it prevents early death from that. So who knew? But CPAP, I highly recommend getting those and using them. They're not sexy. I'll be the first to tell you.
I didn't like it, man. I had to give mine back.
Did you? They have the little thing you can put here, and like you do a little tap, and it does something else, but it increases your risk of stroke. I mean,
I know, and that's one of the things. Like they said, I had mild sleep apnea.
Like a 19.
But I remember like waking up in the morning and my mouth was just the worst case of cotton mouth I had ever had. But I guess there was several times. Yeah, I had the water in it too. I had the water in it. I tried cranking it up. But the other thing was like, I guess it had forced so much air into my lungs when I was asleep that I wake up and my stomach would be like just sore as crap. And it was the worst farts. It was, dude. It was like getting a colonoscopy every night.
We'll have to talk later. I can show you how to. I don't know if you have the some products. It's sitting on the side of my bed, like the something whatever. It's the white one. But I can show you how to hack it, and you can actually turn the numbers down. I mean, you have the ability to change a lot with that. The right mask. I don't know if you use full face, nose.
It went all the way across.
Well, okay, yeah. There's different things you can do to improve that. And yeah, it's going to take a while to get used to it, but as I started using it, it improved my overall well-being.
Well, and I've heard other people say that. The guy that actually encouraged me to do it, because I listened to his podcast, wasn't talking to him personally, was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I heard Stone Cold Steve Austin talking about like, I didn't even know what sleep was until I got this thing. He's pretty fit.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, if you're fat, I'm sorry, if you're overweight, if you're one of the larger people,
you can say fat.
Yeah. Okay. If you're fat, like me, I mean, I'm a jelly roller. It's the fat and then the way you're all that fun stuff. But it increases I mean, if you lose weight, you have a less chance of needing a CPAP. If you know, airway, smoking, obviously, blah blah blah, all that fun stuff. But yeah, see, a lot of people use a CPAP. They're not sexy. I mean, you know what? Getting back to the sex and marriage. Paint the thing black. Do some Darth Vader Star Wars stuff. Whatever. I mean, make it fun. Talking to you, honey.
You got to keep it spicy.
Oh yeah.
There's only so many times. There's only so many things you can do where you got to start getting creative, guys. You got to keep it adventurous.
I romance my wife every single day, from the moment she gets up to the moment she goes to bed. Every day, I sing a special song for her in the shower. I do a little dance for her. We do it's
you do a dance. Can we see the dance, Dwayne?
Well, I'm clothed right now, so I can't do the dance.
Is it the helicopter?
No, more like
Headbanging.
No, it's a fun. It's I'm sharing all of our secrets here. She's gonna kill me.
Brandy, that turns you on.
Well, no. Let me correct.
You're turning red, Dwayne.
Let me. Yeah, I'm turning red. I don't want to say it turns her on. She laughs her butt off, and that's how I got in. That's how I get in here.
The helicopter.
It's more of a whippoorwill, but that's a whole different topic.
Well, you know what, dude? When you love your wife, you walk in the kitchen, you're always going to smack the back end.
Yeah.
It's what we do. I think TikTok and it's one thing about social media. I think it's one of those things you get on the reels and you're like, oh, somebody else does that too. It's like, is it not crazy to see how many things are similar that we all do inside the relationships? And that's another reason why I believe conversations like what we're having right now is important for these guys to realize, look, I get it. And this is one that I would ask, ladies, have this conversation with your other lady friends. And if there is something that men need to improve on, or there's a part where we could be better in that, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Because one of those things, like, I think these guys will be open and to hear it too, because we got to do this together.
Yeah. I mean,
hey, Adam and Eve, it's going to take both of them. I know. Never mind. I'm going to go in a different direction.
Sometimes. But, well, I mean, for the ladies, hey, if it boils down to communication. I mean, if you don't feel comfortable doing it here, sit down with your partner and go, look and have an honest conversation. If you can't have an honest conversation, you've got bigger problems.
That's right.
That's all I can tell you. I mean, and get it done now, because if you wait 2-3 more years, it's just going to get worse and you're going to miss out. I mean, I'm 50 years old. I was willing to live in a horrid marriage for a long, because I committed and blah, 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 and all that fun stuff.
The dance didn't work back then?
Do what?
The dance didn't work back then?
No. She was actually sleeping in the on the second floor. I was in the first floor of the house. We lived separately for 3 years, some odd years, because I can't remember the reason she gave me, some nonsense reason for it. It wasn't because of sleep apnea or anything else. She detested me, so that's how that part worked out. But it's
look, she said playful is sexy. Yeah. Pam said humor is so important in a relationship.
I mean,
I'm like fart. Don't fart during sexy time.
Or before, because apparently that's a turnoff. Who knew?
Why does it always seem to want to come then, though?
Uh-oh, now you're getting real. No, my body goes into lockdown mode. It's like, hey, this may be the last time this happens. We're all going to transform and format and lock stuff off. My six-pack pops out. I get all up in it. My arm gets big and bulges right here and all that. It's like,
oh, Jesus.
From an evolutionary biological position, my body is like, all right, it's time. And it ruffles the feathers. My back hair lays down. It's all, whoa. All right.
Yeah, I'm not reading that one.
Larry is making it weird.
Larry. You ain't supposed to go there.
Larry's like, hey, I thought this was a safe space. You know what, Larry? Whatever trips you trigger. This is something between you and your spouse. You sit down and you whatever.
You just better not do that to me.
All I'm gonna say is
well, tell her, no, sir. No.
Yeah. When you play doctor over 40, that's not part of the exam. I'll just throw it out.
No, no prostrate exams for me, man. I'm good. But yeah, whatever makes you guys laugh. Well, it definitely brings, what, dude, it's funny. And I do love the humor.
Yeah.
And the world would be such a better place if we had more of it. We could laugh. We can make fun of ourselves, make fun of other people, but in a playful way where people didn't get offended, right? And when you're in this space where it's this, tomorrow night, we got 3 different families who have fathers that got murdered when they went to go pick up their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard. That's heavy. Every once in a while, it's okay for us to just let our hair down, like Dwayne was talking about.
Let my back hair down. Yeah.
Let the back hair down. Did I tell you I got my back hair waxed a couple of weeks ago?
Okay.
That was horrible. But anyway, just getting back to that, every once in a while, it's okay for us guys to come in here and have some humor together. There's people that will judge you if you laugh while you're going through this or doing this process, like, oh, stop being immature, or you're doing this, you're doing that. And that's, you know what, dude, I don't want to live that kind of life.
No.
That kind of life where I can't laugh. Are you kidding me?
You gotta have, you got one shot at this. You gotta go through and see the best in people, be real, see the best people, laugh, enjoy your life. You got one of them.
I'm serious on here, but this, I mean, like, you know, Dwayne talking about letting his hair back. I'll be the one. I'll give myself a wedgie and just go up there. Are you ready?
Oh yeah. Oh, you do the do the Chippendales dance when you walk in.
Yeah.
Oh, I do
the Farley.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's, you know what? I mean, it's when you get married and you found that person, and that's, you know what? I'm gonna talk to the girls here. That you can be open, honest, and vulnerable with your spouse. And I've been told that being vulnerable with your spouse is by far the sexiest thing you can possibly do. And oh my God, okay, block Brandy. She's getting ready to say something. If you can't laugh,
I know, Brandy. Come on, bring it on in here.
No, bop it up there. Can't laugh at your spouse. You need to change some things. Make it fun. The world sucks. Have fun. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that's. And I mean, in her first marriage, she may get a chance to talk about it one day. Wasn't the best. She didn't have that person. And now she's got a package.
If you don't at least laugh during your darkest times, your soul will shrivel up and die. It's not the only thing.
I mean,
that will shrivel.
Us having fun here and hopefully bringing some joy here. I mean, I can sit here and talk to you about my dark days of when I'd go to work. I would hope that the cleaning guy put blue sanitizing stuff in the toilet bowl, and it was going to be a blue bowl, which told me it was going to be a day I was going to make it through. I mean, is that the kind of show we want to have? Probably not. I mean, we need to talk about that. We need to talk about the good stuff. You know, a good marriage, good relationships. And these are things that spouses or prospective spouses need to look at each other.
Well, you know, and the thing is, Dwayne, I lived so many years in those dark days that I didn't know what humor was either. I had some of those days that I didn't want to get out of bed, didn't want to brush my teeth, didn't want to go to work, didn't want to do anything, guys. Yeah. And if it wasn't for my kids and them being the reason that I had to get up and I had to make it every day and I had to provide for them because I was a single father, I wouldn't have cared if I lived or not. I forgot the ability to laugh. And when I did laugh, it was a very fake smile because I was the most unhappy person on the face of this earth. So when we come in here and we talk about these dark, deep moments, Dwayne's out of the system. A lot of this, you know, I still got my challenges, of course, with my daughter I haven't seen. But a lot of when I'm talking about the divorce and those dark days, I'm way, way past that. The last thing I want to do is have to come in here and do that. But I identify with you guys. Oh, yeah. I know what it's like to be that guy. But I love being able to laugh now. And there's something I can do now because I have a good, healthy confidence that I could have never done back then. I laugh at myself more than I do just about anybody.
Yeah.
Every time I get hurt. It's kind of humorous, man. Old age is humorous. And you know what? It's okay to laugh at yourself as you get older, but it's also a blessing. There's a lot of people that didn't make it to the age that me and you are right now.
Yeah.
You know, talking about the young gentleman, 21 years old that I was with not long ago when I was looking at those Mustangs.
Oh, yeah.
Had a wreck, passed away. Sometimes life just doesn't make sense, man. And so if we can't have fun, dude, no. Unfortunately, there's a lot of these guys that are in those dark moments that we were in years ago. Mm-hmm. And I know what it's like. You know, I was talking to Brooks. I know he was suffering with it a little bit here lately too.
Yeah.
It's like when you're in that dark pit of despair, it is so hard to get out of it. And it's the same, like if you want to get on a diet, once you've finally done it and you've lost some weight, it's like, hell yeah, man, I'm never going back. It's easy to sustain. But that first little push of getting out of it,
right.
Getting out of that mode can be one of the hardest things in the world. So if coming on here and talking about Dwayne doing the helicopter put a smile on somebody's face, then
I'm here for you.
No, don't do that on the show.
And hopefully, you know, also for the folks that are in it right now and dealing with it, you see that you can get out of this and have a happy life. I mean, there are times I'm sitting there going, it's never going to get better. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to get better. And here I am. Actually, you would have talked to 40-year-old Dwayne. had no idea that my life would be like this 10 years later. Yeah, it's 10 years, but I never thought I could do or be anything more than a miserable person that was being screwed over by the court system.
Dude, this is what I love to hear. Mr. Hayes, he said, I'll be honest, I almost gave up, so tired of fighting, and then I found Dad Talk. I got court at the end of this month, but I'm feeling a whole lot better about it. That's what it's about, brother.
Thumbs up, Larry.
That's it.
And hopefully he knows what I'm talking about.
I
gotcha.
They get no thumbs going up there, buddy. No, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir.
It's going to help. Being serious, talking, sharing information, data, all those different things, and having fun. This is what Larry and others has got to be what, keeps you coming back and keeps you in the game.
And we started with a very serious subject. And I'm going to tell you, as men, there's going to be a stigma on us for saying that women shouldn't use sex as a reward in marriage. Oh, here comes these guys telling us what to do with our bodies, telling us to do this. And it couldn't be further from the truth.
No.
Look, if there is places that we need to be better as men, I don't mind having a talk, but you can do it in a respectful way. Unfortunately, we have the control. We do this, and we don't even want you to talk about it. We don't even.
Right.
It is so sad how hard it has become just to do what you feel is right. Again, I believe in the nuclear family. I believe in marriage, what marriage is supposed to be. I don't believe in the United States version of marriage or what the government has done for it, by no means. But I still have that dream, man, that maybe one day this is, going to come back. But going back, if I'd have went, 10 years ago, like you was talking about, would I have thought that I would be where I'm at right now? Absolutely not. I never would have thought I'd been a podcaster for sure.
Right.
But I never would have thought I'd be sitting where I was now. I remember going through that divorce and looking back, like 15 years of my life wasted. I didn't even know who I was. I'm starting over. I've got kids. Like, man, it's so overwhelming. And you're sitting there like grieving over, oh my God, look what I've lost. Now that I've gotten through it, and I can look back like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Yeah. I learned my lessons. I'm a smarter man, and I'm ready to go, and I'm actually happy. I don't have to worry about what they're doing. There goes another conversation. These men that are inside of relationships where they feel like, what is she doing? Who's she with? What she's doing over there on her cell phone? Like, who's she talking to? Where's she at? That is not a relationship, brother.
No.
And those type of women will definitely be the ones that will say, I need you to do this in order for you to get this. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
That is that type.
And that you have to sit there and if you're already married, that's a whole other, you need to have some serious conversations. And, boys are conditioned at an earlier age. There's psychological papers on it. And, I can give you the dry walk through it all, but it's one of those, believe me, there's, papers on this. And again, the stuff I talk about is, it's backed by science. I mean, I have the same flavor as others, but boys are conditioned to do that risk and reward. We're risk takers. We, do things, and we're, again, more conditioned to get that, I want a cookie. I'm going to work for it to get that cookie. No pun intended. And, women, in ways are taught that, their virginity is a lock that can be opened up, should only be opened up by one key. And it's a prize and all that. And that they're told by their friends, hey, if they want it, they're gonna have to work for it. I can't agree with. I agree with parts of it, but I can't agree with all of it. We need to, I guess, find a healthy balance. But within marriage, especially, there should not be the bad version of rewarding for sex. There's the good. We were talking earlier about the good, reward for it. And again, if the girl, here's one for the guys. The girl says, "Hey, if you fold the laundry, I'll give you what you want tonight." Go mow the lawn. I'll give you what you want tonight. Sit back there, throw your keys down, be like, "What's up?" She may laugh and give it to you.
Are you gonna ask Brandy to mow the lawn?
I have.
No, dude, it's funny. You're gonna think I'm crazy. I'm gonna lose my man card. I think we've talked about it before. My wife loves mowing the grass.
Yeah.
She's always been a city girl.
So
So when she got here, she loves it. We had a riding lawnmower too.
Oh, well.
But it's like, dude, she'll come home from work and be like, I can't wait to get out in the yard. I want to do the grass. I'm like,
go for it.
You know what? I'm fine with it. I'll come in here, dad talk, do what I can. I don't mind doing it, but I'm not going to say it's my favorite thing to do. I'm not Hank Hill or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, she enjoys mowing the lawn. Great. I bet she looks sexy out there on that, you know, mowing that lawn. You get a little straw hat for her. You're sitting up there drinking your coffee, playing with your belly button, going, "Oh yeah, baby, do them circles, do them circles." I mean, it's all good.
Well, you talking about straw hats and stuff? You know, let role play, guys. I know you're into D&D and stuff like that. Are you doing cosplay, Dwayne?
Rolling the dice. Get those dirty dice and roll them.
Oh Lord, this could go in another direction quickly. Quickly.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. We
guys.
To the edge, and then we pulled back.
Then we pulled back. That's abs. Yeah. Sometimes you have to pull out. Oh, many of you would have done that. We wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
Amen. All right, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much. If you'd like to support our show and would like to hear us talk about this again, God knows who bless you if you got through it. But I had fun with it. It's got a smile on my face. Dad Talk today. No spaces. Cash App, Venmo, and Patreon. Super chats there on YouTube and memberships, and you got the stars. I didn't see any twinkle little stars come in on Facebook tonight.
I guess I need to shake the money maker or something, make that happen. I don't know.
Does it make you money?
It doesn't. Like a $1.45 as the old joke is, or a $1.25, the 2 dimes and a quarter. Anyway, I'll stop with
true fitty.
So yeah, I mean, but getting back to the, you know, sex should not be treated as a reward in marriage. I'm trying to steer us back. Here I am. We gotta get back on topic. I love talking about all the other fun stuff, but I don't know.
Somebody's bringing up the helicopter again.
Everybody, you know what? Everybody wants a helicopter.
Are you a wrestling fan?
You know what? I stopped after the whole Mean Gene twin thing with Hulk Hogan.
Oh, and you back in the 80s.
Yeah. I mean,
dude, I don't watch it anymore, but I was a huge wrestling nut up until probably around 2010. It's just that professional wrestling isn't what it used to be. But one of my favorites, along with many other people, the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Woo!
But they talk about all his different escapades and stuff. Them professional wrestlers were some of the world's worst, dude. They were some wild people. I love hearing the road stories and stuff. But they came out with this documentary on Vice called The Plane Ride from Hell. It was one of these trips where the WWE had to come back, and they had unlimited liquor for all of the wrestlers. And so they partake in quite a bit.
Right.
And Ric Flair came out in his robe and ripped it off. Woo! And he was known to do the helicopter. But when the news broke last year about the helicopter, he about lost his career over the helicopter.
Really?
Yes.
Why did he? I mean, what was the issue? Was it more like the?
There was a lot. You'd have to go back and watch that documentary. From what I heard, he was very well known for doing the helicopter everywhere he went.
Yeah.
No matter what hotel it was. That was the Nature Boy.
That was Nature Boy. What did they expect out of him? He's the Nature Boy.
Dude, don't say that. I mean, because look, let's be honest. There is conversations that, you know, if we would have had him 20 or 30 years ago, nobody would have batted an eye at him. But nowadays, it's like you have to be very careful at every little thing you say.
Yeah.
And people get offended by everything. One of the things I can't understand is like how these people 30, 40 years later, somebody's speaking up saying, hey, they did this to me.
Yeah.
Why did you wait 40 or 50 years to come out and say this? I have to believe. I mean, and you know what? If there's truth to it, God bless their soul. And I don't think anybody should go through anything like that. But it does make you raise the eyebrow, do the people's eyebrow like The Rock talking about wrestling. When somebody says 40 or 50 years later, like, look, they was doing this to me. It just doesn't seem right, man.
Controversial, but Bill Cosby.
Cosby, I was looking into that with Cosby the other night. I think there is a part of me that would like to talk to Cosby. And if he was guilty, you know, he got what he deserved. But do I find it very odd that Bill Cosby, out of the middle of nowhere, had all these people step up right after that Me Too movement? I'm telling you, dude, Cosby was doing a lot of great work going around the country, speaking at the colleges. I saw several of his conferences, and I was like, man, he's speaking a lot of truth. He's, you know, he's trying to empower these guys, and then out of the middle of nowhere, bam,
cancel culture.
Yeah. And that was, you know, the sad thing is we talk about masculinity being a target. Bill Cosby, especially for the African-American community, was one of the biggest role models, especially for dads. Take African-American or you know, race out of it. He was one of the biggest role models for dads, period, in all of television history.
Yeah. I mean, for me and my 3 stations growing up, watching the Cosbys, I mean, it was predominantly white where I was out in the country. And he was kind of my intro to what a black family would be. And I pulled a lot of like, wow, that's some kernels of truth. There's some good stuff in what he talked about and taught. And I listened to him before that when he was a comedian. He was like one of the only clean comedians out there that I had listened to that was funny. And there's so many things that he did. Yeah. And for them to do that was horrible unless he's guilty.
Well, another one that you know, talking about what that community is like, man, watching Good Times.
Oh, Good Times.
Good Times. And I'm going to tell you, James was the image of that just normal dad. They didn't try to polish him or make him look too perfect or to make him look bad or anything. It looked like a normal family going through the challenges that especially, I mean, outside of where they were living and some of the challenges that they was going through. But you didn't talk back to James. He was the man of that house. He was a strong male role model.
Yeah.
And we just don't see that on TV anymore. I mean, even there, if one of those kids was to talk back to him, he was about to get a dynamite on the back end. Remember that?
Dynamite. Oh God. Yeah, those were.
I'll never forget the episode where James died. That one broke my heart. Did you see that one?
I don't remember that one. Yeah, I'll have to go back on Tubi and watch that.
Yeah, there was one, I forget. He had been gone for a while, and Flo, she got the message, and she was holding a pot. She was holding a party for him coming home, and found out he died and threw the pot down. Damn.
Okay.
I remember that specifically, but Good Times. I mean, even that one, that was a good show, man. It's just sad that we don't have those images of dad anymore.
Yeah, no. What did you think about not Rosie O'Donnell? That'll get us going on Roseanne Barr with the Connors, the original show, the original series. You got Dan Connor. Yeah. Oh boy, I'm losing it now. But that whole thing. I mean, they were Illinois, Midwestern, poor, trying to, you know, they're struggling family, and you had the dynamics between the two. You had Dan. Dan. They had some interesting dynamics between them.
They did. I saw it several times, don't get me wrong, but Roseanne wasn't one that I got into too terrible much. I had one that was a personal favorite of mine that you don't really hear anybody talk about much anymore. I just found it hilarious. It was Perfect Strangers.
Perfect. Balky.
Orson Larry.
Yep.
Yeah, Balky.
Yep. Oh yeah, that was a great series. I remember. Oh god, what was the first like those cross-dressing? It wasn't Perfect. Yeah, it wasn't Perfect Strangers. It was oh gosh, it was
Twisted Sister.
No, not Twisted Sister. They had to dress up as women to live in an apartment because it was zoned only for women, and so they dressed up. It was Captain Phillips guy. Yeah, Bosom Buddies.
Oh, I was just guessing. I remember that was a show. I never saw it.
Never. Okay.
I'm not just saying that. No.
All right.
Was Robin Williams in that? Or was it Tom Hanks?
That was Mark from Work. It was Tom Hanks. Yeah, it was Tom Hanks.
Okay.
And I don't remember the other guy. He didn't go on to do too much, but yeah, it was Tom Hanks, and they dressed up as women because they had to live in a rent controlled apartment and all that. But that takes me over to Three's Company. That was almost blasphemy back in the day. A man living with oh geez, I am losing my mind here. 3 other
John Ritter. He was living with 2 women.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't 3. Yeah, it was 2 women. They updated they upgraded one of the girls later on. But yeah, he was living with 2 women. And it was blasphemy back then, because the Ropers who lived down below, they're like, we can't rent this to singles of opposite sex. And then of course they came up with a solution that worked for that situation. But yeah,
you know what? I'm saying it here. One of these nights, guys, if you're okay with it, we talk about parental alienation, have done it for like 4 years now. I want to do an episode to just talk about nostalgia, old TV episodes, old video games, or whatever. Just do it for the fun of it, because I could go on and on and on about that. One of the kids like now that we grew up with was dinosaurs.
That was
highly expensive. Yeah, not the baby, or not the mama.
Baby. Not the mama. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Those memories as a kid, dude. I mean, it was TGIF. Oh. It was Full House. Then you was going to have Family Matters, Step by Step. Dinosaurs was in it. They used to have that. Was it Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
Hanging with Mr. Cooper, yeah.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Several more. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I never really cared much about that one.
Too old for that one. As far as I was out work, I wasn't in that age group to watch it. But yeah, there was. I mean, I watched Love Boat, Love American Style, all these different shows that you can catch them on Tubi TV or on YouTube. But yeah, it's just, and it's amazing. I watch them now because, one, I can't stand a lot of the garbage that's out nowadays, and it's not what it's just. They've already I remember this. It's a rip off of this, and I just like watching the older stuff. The stuff I used to laugh at my parents about. My dad be watching some old episode or whatever, and I'm like, "Why are you watching this? There's Dukes of Hazzard on." Jeez.
Now you can't even have Dukes of Hazzard on anymore.
No, you can't. Fantasy Island. Sabrina just mentioned Fantasy Island. That show scared the crap out of me.
Wasn't that the plane? The plane?
Yeah. No,
that's all I know about that one. I never really watched it.
Oh yeah, that one.
Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk. Oh yeah,
dude. Lou Ferrigno. That used to be me and my oldest daughter's thing when she was younger. We would play Uno or Skip-Bo while watching the Incredible Hulk. And dude, if I missed a night, she got highly upset. She loved that, and that was where I turned her on to the Incredible Hulk, and I did turn her on to the Power Rangers because that wasn't her generation. That's where she found the tearing asshole that I told you about. I'm not repeating that story. I'll get killed. If she ever finds out I talked about that on the network, she will have a fit.
She will, yeah.
Dude, Larry, you're bringing up a sore spot, man. You're bringing up a sore spot. Dude, I cried when MacGyver went off the air as a kid. I literally cried. I loved MacGyver so much. And I want to say it was MacGyver and what was the one with Kirk Cameron? Growing Pains. I want to say they kind of went off around the same time.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I love.
What about Who's the Boss?
Who's the Boss? Yeah, that was a gender flipper. $6 Million Man. Hold on a second.
I never watched that one. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, hold on.
I never watched that one.
Got to meet him about 3 months ago.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Got to meet him.
How cool is that?
Do what?
I said, how cool is that?
Oh, yeah. Got to meet him, and I can see
that. Who did?
That is Lindsay Wagner. The
Who's
$6 Million Woman. The Bionic Woman.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. Actually, the picture of me and the better half right there.
Nowadays, it would be the $6 million pronoun.
Yeah, exactly. And I love to brag about, I got to meet my heartthrob. These are just some of my pictures. Aaron Gray.
Oh. Aaron Gray. Why does that sound familiar?
Oh, well, if I show you this picture, you'll have to excuse the kiss marks on it. Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got you. I got to meet Daisy Duke.
You got
in a music video with her.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We made a music video for Waylon's grandson, Wade Jennings, and her, Tom Wopat, and all of the Moonshiners and all of them was in it. It's really cool. I'll have to send it to you.
Oh, yeah.
You guys can check it out on YouTube. Wade Jennings. It's called Lead Me Home. Wade was on the show. And that was one of our more powerful episodes, man. But it wasn't family court related. It was a guy that was on the road, had the Jennings name, came from a famous family, and he was getting in a lot of trouble on the road. And he wanted to sober up because he wanted to be a family man. And he has. For the past several years, man, he is on the straight and narrow. He got out, has a newborn baby, and it's beautiful, man. But this is all people that we've met doing this. You know?
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
You've shown me a few things off air that I'm like, oh my God, you have met some people.
Oh, dude.
You had a huge impact on the movement and just all the things and meeting some really good people.
I tell you one, I would love to get on the show because I would just love to be maybe a shoulder for him to lean on at times, and maybe you don't need it. Would be Bam Margera.
Oh yeah,
I was watching Viva La Bam last night. I've been watching it when I was going to sleep. I was a huge Jackass fan.
Yeah,
and just thinking like, man, look, when they were on top of the world, dude, they were on top of the world. Viva La Bam was one of my favorite shows, but seeing the struggles that he's went through right now, and I couldn't imagine being that guy that gets everything that he wants, and then all of a sudden that goes away.
Yep.
You've made your living, you got famous, you got everything you've got from doing stupid stuff and from people to want you to do stupider stuff, and then that goes away. And so he's still doing a lot of that and thinking, why you used to love me for this? And there's everybody saying, hey, sober up. But if you guys haven't seen Steve-O was one of the ones that we thought he was out there, dude. They got the rise and demise of Steve-O on YouTube. He was hooked on whippets and crank and all kinds of stuff, dude. And that guy has turned his life around. And I've seen him talking to Bam, but Bam was one of those I met down in Tupelo, Mississippi one time. That's one I'd love to reach out to. I got to meet my idol when I was growing up, Hulk Hogan.
Oh, brother.
that was pretty brother. Cool, man. Let me tell
you something, brother.
Dude, I Am a Real American recorded on my cassette tape.
Oh, really?
And I would have it, where it just looped. And then that was what I did when I wrestled with my pillows. I came out and I was Hulk Hogan. I could rip my shirt. Dude, those were the days. You didn't need anything to entertain you. You just had your imagination, and it was so easy to have fun.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we would have
damn cell phones.
I know. I mean, have you ever done bottle rocket battles with your buddies? Bottle rockets, a trash can.
I've had that go bad too, though. Well, I was just thinking about that the other on New Year's when we was doing fireworks. I remember me and my buddy doing it one time, and I had one go. I was holding my ear when he shot at me, and it said right here and popped in my hand.
In your hand. Oh wow.
Oh yeah, right there by my ear.
Funny story about bottle rockets. I'm going to tell this, and it's embarrassing for me, but this is a father's love. So picture it. Let's see. Daniel's 16. He was like 4 or 5. Anyway, went to see my buddy up in Indiana, and it was 4th of July. It was my birthday. I'm a 4th of July baby. And we're sitting there, and he was always a little skittish, mom, but he was scared to shoot bottle rockets off. And I'm not going to lie, I had a couple Maduri sours, and I'm not going to try to say that I was completely, in my right mind. And I'm like, son, it's not scary at all. And he would not grab the bottle rocket to shoot it off. And I'm like, let me show you how easy this is. So put the Roman candle where the sun don't shine and shot it out. And
somebody just brought up Roman candles too, and that was my first thought. You either put it right here and shoot one, or you put it out your butt. I did it the other night, making the kids laugh.
What is it with dads? That's what we do.
Dude, we like to cut up with our kids, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it puts a smile on their face, anything to get a smile on their face. But you helped him get over that fear with that bottle rocket. I thought about that, last year. My daughter, it was crazy. When she was younger, she was my daredevil. She loved thrill rides, but she went through about a 5-year spell where don't even get her close to a roller coaster. She would just go nuts. Yeah. And finally, one day, the kids would pick at her about it, and I hated that. And we went one day, and I said, we're going to do something different. I said, I want them to go off to the other side of the park, and it's just going to be me and you. And I said, we're going to go do something. And she was scared. I mean, just rubbing her hands, dude, like sweating, like, Daddy, I can't do this day. And I'd hold her and I'd say, I'm with you. Do you think anything is going to happen while your daddy's got you? And so we went on this first coaster. It didn't go upside down or anything. And I remember her going, I'm like, Daddy, we can't do it. I was like, we're doing it now. I was like, but I got you. I'm going to hold you the whole time.
Yep.
As soon as we went down that first hill, it was, I love it. And then there was a couple of more coasters we went to. She was nervous getting on them. And then as soon as she got off, I want to do it again. I want to do it again. Mm-hmm. And I looked at him and I said, in one day, that father's love, knowing that she felt protected and everything, with nobody around to judge or anything, we broke something for 5 years that was holding her back.
Yep.
But it took that. Let me do it with you. Let's get over here. Let's get this pressure away from you. You're with Daddy now. I got you.
That's Dad.
And our daughters feel safe. We are their protection, man.
Yeah.
You know,
man,
it's a beautiful thing. And then when we cut up, we can do it just as much, man. We can be just like one of the kids.
Yeah, and that's one of the things when we've talked in the past about the difference between, again, these are generalizations, difference between men and women. Again, my son had a very unhealthy fear of rides and things like that, being thrown in the air and all that, and would get nervous and stuff. And that was the way she handled it. Not going to say it's right or wrong, but different than the way I would have done it. But I know that he's not going to be 30 years old, afraid to use a Roman candle or go on a ride. So just like actually ours was the Buccaneer, that ship that goes like this. And he was just scared as can be. Went on to it the first time with him. Me and him sat in the middle. Then we, moved 3 seats back and then, did that. And then he was like, all right, I'm going to try this on my own. Went in the middle. After that, I couldn't get him off the rides all day long. He was just, running going nuts. And that's one of the things that dads, generally speaking, bring to the table. This is one of those things that we do. We're the ones that push them and make them get out of that comfort zone. And again, that's just one of the many things that dads bring to the table.
It's like a coach, man. Some people call that toxic masculinity, that coach wants to get the most out of his player. And it's the same thing. We want to show our kids that you can do more. Every time that you think this is my limits, let me show you. I believe in you. You can do anything you want, but we're going to push you. We're going to push you to make sure we get that extra mile out of you. I love that scene. I think it was Facing the Giants, where he gets that football player and puts somebody on his back and tells him just to go so many feet and blindfolds him.
Yep.
Hey, buddy, he doesn't let him fall. He just keep going.
Yep.
And he goes all the way to the end zone with it, man.
Yeah, that's what dads bring to the table. And kind of relating to this, I know that a lot of parents don't have equal parenting or their children full time, and they only get first, third, fifth weekends or whatever your schedule is. It's hard to do. I'm gonna be the first to say that, but those are the times that you got to instill those in your kids, because they're going to remember it. They my kids still remember. We joke about the Roman candle almost every time we met my buddy a couple weeks ago, and we joked about the Roman candle.
But so when you say that you put it to your back end and made it like you were shooting out your back end, now did he follow your footsteps and do that too?
Not that I'm aware of. Not on that encounter. That would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome. How old was he back then?
He was like 4 to 6. I'm trying to remember exactly.
Oh, okay, never mind.
He was
teenager. I'd have been disappointed.
Yeah. That was that was another thing too. I was when my first wife, when we had kids. I don't know. There's always that competition that goes on. My kids sleeping through the night. My kids potty trained. My kids this. My kids that. Well, I remember my wife getting kind of, I guess, talked to about something that the kids weren't potty trained at 2 weeks. And and they fret about this, and I would say for the ladies that are out there, I'm sure you probably have either done it or been told about it. And I just remember going, I've never seen a college kid in a diaper, and trying to do that assurance. I know I'm going way off track here, but I'm just kind of like highlighting the difference between men and women. Women were freaking
I've seen
out about
5-year-olds breastfeeding.
Yeah. I've seen 50-year-olds breastfeeding. Anyway, I'm gonna stop. You can't throw softballs like that at me and expect me not to swing at those. I apologize, Lord. I apologize. That's my.
He has to swing with balls.
I have to, both of them. Anyway.
All right, that's it, guys. We said we was going to get on it. We got on our nerd kick. One night, we're just going to go full on. It's going to be nostalgia. We ain't going to mention anything about family court. We're just going to come on here and have fun with you guys. And hopefully you'll allow us to say, instead of saying, you need to talk about that, you need to talk about that, we talk about it every day.
Yeah.
And because we are passionate. But again, I want to show these guys it's okay to have fun, to take care of yourself. And I don't know how we got off on that subject from the one sex should not be treated as a reward in a marriage. But I wish more people would participate in conversations like that, because I just know what that's like, being that husband. And you're putting those insecurities in him. You say you don't want a whipped up puppy dog, right? You don't want a whipped up puppy dog. You want a masculine man. Well, in many ways, you might be the reason why he's not.
Yeah.
You might not be there. You might not
swallow. Yeah.
It is a hard pill to swallow, but
you need to.
You need to. So other than that, guys, we are going to get out of here tomorrow night again. Please help me. We had a little bit of fun with this at the end of tonight, but tomorrow's show is going to be very deep. I have covered every one of these cases one at a time. John Mass case, I am so invested in, guys, but it's the same thing with, Jennifer, what you had. If I was her, if I was Chad's family, this would be a pretty hard thing to be looking at right now. We had the lady that showed up the other night in the middle of the live. Hey, it happened to my son too. Yeah. She'll be coming on before too long. We got another Cussy Exchange murder that happened, and there was another one in the inbox today. And it's just like, man, dude, how can we keep up? I mean, if I'm being honest with you guys, that's one thing to just bring the family on here and say, hey, what happened? And that needs to happen. Don't get me wrong. That does need to happen. We need to make sure that we're reporting on it. I just wish I had film crews and stuff where we could say, let's go to the spot, let's show them what's going on, and make sure that we're going to let the world know what happened to him, because we know that they're not going to.
Yeah. Right? I mean, just to talk about the Tyrone Darling that's here in Arlington, the reason I kind of bring that one, it's newer too. I was able to spend, time with the grandmother. She noticed, that Dad Talk today was there, especially when no one else was. And did things and spent time with her, and again, she noticed and appreciated it. Being in here and knowing that someone cares when no one else will, it makes all the difference. I'm hoping everyone can join in tomorrow evening. It's going to be a very serious topic. We're going to hear about things. We want, of course, everyone to be respectful. And be there and show your support for these families, because they've been put through hell.
They really have. I mean, one of my plans early on, I'm sure in this wait for justice, there's a lot of these people that got things on their head. They would like to get some of the stuff off their chest, and that's what we're going to do. Here's the platform. I'm going to do my best to let them do as much speaking as possible and just provide some questions to give them a roadmap on where we want to go. I don't know if, he's been on the show before. I didn't know if John Mass' dad had been on here. I think he's been on here several times. But Dwayne, you got to meet Mr. Robert when we was down there. Oh my God, dude. You couldn't ask for a better person. We'll probably get him to pray over it. He likes to pray before he does any of these things. So
he's a real deal.
It's gonna be a hard night, guys. And I mean, the sad thing is those are the three bigger cases that happen in this community that we reported on. But there's ones that are happening every single day. We do got some plans, though. We was talking with Brooks earlier. We got to get some research on these topics because they're happening more than the world would allow you to know that they're happening. So we got to get a game plan up. And in order for us to get their story out there, we need you to show up.
Yeah. Okay. This is one, share it with everybody you can possibly share it with. I would say this is one where if we can have the entire community come together and show there's 10,000, 20,000 people live with them, it's going to take the sting off. And we've all been through some amount of this. Arguably there's a lot worse, but we're a community. Dad Talk today is, we are a community. We are the community that, we're all here for each other. And this is a great way to show the world that we are here in solidarity with them and showing them that they're not alone in this thing. That's going to offer a small, a bit of comfort to them as they go through this, and each other. I mean, I would just invite everyone to share this, like it, do all the things you can possibly do to get this out to everybody, so we can show them, what Dad Talk Today is made of.
As I was saying, the one thing the Mast family said helped them through this, guys, was seeing that there was a community behind them and that they wasn't fighting this alone. And I know this community is still very much behind them. For anybody that doesn't know John's story, I Stand With John on YouTube, 100% free documentary that we made, and I want to get that out to as many people as possible. That's why we made it a free documentary. It's hard to get sustainable income to make more of these documentaries doing it that way. But we did that so we can use it as a tool and educate people. And I wish I could do the same thing for Chad Reed and Justin Goolsby. And who knows, we might end up doing it as our resources grow. But make sure you go and watch that documentary and join in. That will be 8 o'clock tomorrow Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Mountain, and 5 o'clock Pacific. I got through that pretty quick. So, all right. Until then, I know Brandy is wanting Dwayne to come do his sexy dance. Probably waited a little bit too long for it. So I'll let you get to it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. See you next time.